football fans, it is time to steer the line. Touchdown! With your host, Loud Esmond and Jeremy James. For the best takes in NFL and football betting, fantasy football, and the latest news, get ready to steer the line. And welcome, everyone, to another edition of Steer the Line here on a Friday evening. We have a full cast back with us tonight. Rocky back on, Christian, of course, Loud Esmond, and we're also joined by our special guest, Nick Smith from the Snoqualmie sportsbook, who we'll be talking to in just a few moments. But yeah, happy to have you. If you're listening on 1490 AM KMET or watching on Facebook or Twitch, welcome to the show. And Loud, what is on deck tonight?
Well, let's go ahead and bring in Nick Smith. He is the sportsbook manager at Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook. Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Obviously, this is now the first combined NFL and college football weekend. What kind of action do you see in there? What's hot at the sportsbook?
Right now, USC seems to be a popular pick. The public likes them against Stanford tomorrow night. And then Seattle's always going to be our most popular NFL game. But the interesting thing is this year is right now people are backing Denver versus Seattle.
So you are the closest sportsbook to the Seattle Metro. And yet even there, they're fading the Seahawks.
Yes, they are. I think they know it's going to be an interesting year.
Well, Christian, you were riding your boy Drew Lock like he was going to be the hero there in Seattle, and it looks like it's Geno or bust. Any thoughts?
I kind of see the way Seattle's going with Geno. They're kind of intending to lose games. It's a tank season. They're fully embracing it. I hate to say it, I love the Seahawks. I like them since I was a kid, even though they're my division rivals. But who knows? Maybe mid-season we'll see Drew Lock come out and become a trade piece eventually.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Nick, what kind of action did you take on the game last night, Buffalo and the Rams, the opening NFL game?
There's a lot of interest on it. It was about split 50-50 down the line. We came out a little behind because of parlays, tied with other sports with that football game, but just in particular on that game, it was about 50-50. A lot of people it was tough. It's tough to bet against the defending champions at home getting 2.5 points, but it's also tough to bet against the team that is favored to win the Super Bowl.
And also has the likely MVP candidate. This is a big day at Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook. Can you explain why?
A year ago today, on September 9th, 2021, we opened our doors. We became the first sportsbook in Washington State history. So today's our 1-year anniversary. We're celebrating our birthday today. We had some cake. We had a radio partner come out and give away some tickets to a Mariners game. So it's just been a day filled with memories and fun.
So I was actually there on the very first day that sportsbook opened. I didn't know you. I didn't know any of the other people at the casino. I just was a guy that was used to living within 2 hours of Las Vegas and got used to the excitement, the action of going into a sports book, physically going to the window, putting down real cash, getting a ticket in my hands that I could actually go cash. And I cashed one at your casino today at the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook because I was there earlier today, and we're going to run that segment where I kind of do what we're calling the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook Weekend Betting Outlook. Easy for me to say. And so it's about a 5-6 minute segment that we're going to run during the show at the bottom of the half hour into the next half hour as we go throughout the season. I sort of highlight some interesting betting opportunities and the hot games for the weekend. So NFL or college, because they can't bet in Washington. You can't bet on Washington collegiate athletics. Is the NFL the king right now in betting, or college football?
It's the NFL, and I mean, I would even dare to say if you could bet on like Washington schools, it'd still be the NFL. It just seems like the Pacific Northwest is more of an NFL market versus a college market.
Yeah, it's interesting. Depending on the part of the country that you're in, the West Coast, it's overwhelmingly the NFL.
Looks like we lost Loud.
Well, sometimes occasionally whoever speaks is welcome, so we had to cut him off. Hey, Nick, great to see you, brother. How you doing over there? Is it raining? Because we're getting rain here in the Inland Empire. You got to be getting wet up there in Seattle, right?
Unfortunately, it's not raining, but we are getting wildfire smoke, so it's kind of hazy out there.
Cool. Listen, I can't wait to get up there. Lou and I are planning a trip up there. I want to see your sports book. A lot of people have been asking me about it because they tuned in the last time you were on the show. And I'm super excited about going up there. The NFL season is finally here. You guys have to be absolutely ecstatic and rocking and rolling, I imagine, right?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a very busy weekend, and then with the Seahawks playing on Monday night, Russell Wilson coming back, that's going to be a epic day.
Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to wonder which way the action's going in Seattle on that game, with Russell or with Pete Carroll. That's going to be an interesting evening for sure, man. And listen, let's talk about what happened last night. Nick, did you guys get a big crowd for the Rams game last night?
We did. Every seat in the house was filled, and they were into the game. Interest kind of lost its peak as the game lost its interest or its peak.
Yeah.
With the Bills running away with that in the second half.
After the third quarter, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, people were engaged, and right now they're engaged in this Louisville game as well. People just love their sports.
There are no games tomorrow, correct?
Not NFL, no. Just
NFL.
college
I thought there was a game tomorrow. There's not. So Sunday, I guess, will be. I'm sure Saturdays will be jumping with college action anyway. And Sunday and Monday, you guys are expecting big crowds, I'm sure, right?
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah, people love watching the 49ers here. All the NFC West teams, people just love to come, and we'll get fans from all those teams. And then just the marquee games like Tampa Bay and Dallas Sunday night, that will be a huge game that we expect a huge crowd to watch.
So yeah, it's interesting. You say you have a lot of fans present that aren't necessarily Seattle fans. Here in Los Angeles, I'm afraid we have more Raider fans than anything. And then the Rams, because the Rams just came back. And I think San Diego is probably somewhere fourth after the Cowboys, 49ers, maybe fifth, So it's going to be interesting to see how that game shakes out with the Raiders and San Diego. Hey, Big Lou, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, sorry, I had to go to my secondary device for some reason. I don't know what went wrong with my main computer. So anyway,
we missed you. We just had 3 moments of silence while you were gone.
Well, that's wonderful to follow you. All right, Nick, we know you're busy. We're going to let you go. Go do your thing there at the casino. Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook, the best sportsbook, in my opinion, in the Pacific Northwest. It is a class experience.
We're going, Nick. We're coming up there, Nick.
Especially once they build their hotel. You guys all got to come up on a big college and NFL weekend, and we'll rock the place. Rocky's a Hollywood movie star, so we'll see if we can bring some of his friends.
Everybody will not recognize me there as well.
All right, guys.
Hey, wait.
You guys have a good weekend. Thank you.
See you, Nick.
That guy from that thing. Okay, go ahead, Lou.
You're the guy Billy Bob Thornton stabbed to death.
Yeah, no, you're that guy from that thing. That's how it
You're
goes.
that guy from that thing, right?
You're the guy that died in the first 5 minutes of the movie. That's what it always is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Or the only time people ever recognize me, wait a minute, you were the guy on the toilet in Three Fugitives. That's going to be on my tombstone. Yeah. I was a guy on the toilet.
That's a beautiful thing.
Man,
I have no idea what that was about, but I'm back on. I had to go to my backup. By the way, UCF and Louisville right now 7-7 UCF was -7 points in this game. Louisville looked terrible in their first game. I took UCF for just a few bones to make the game interesting. Small bets in college football are kind of a way to make, the Friday night
Saturday's
games
fun.
interesting that you otherwise wouldn't really give a, about. Same way the fantasy football effect is in the NFL. Let's dive into it. How much trouble are the Rams in based on last night's performance, Jeremy?
Yeah, we'll start with me, and then we'll let Christian and Rocky
ask the Raider
have at it. And I
commentator,
won't take up
please.
too much time about this.
Ask the Raider
Week one
commentator about the
shenanigans,
Rams,
yeah, they struggled last night. One team
gonna get
showed
your
up
time,
ready to
Rocky.
play. One team didn't, and I call it, a lot of games are going to see week one shenanigans, as I like to call it. So
Let's
I think
not
the Rams
forget,
are going
Aaron
to.
Rodgers in Green Bay got blown out by like 30 points first week last year.
Yeah, and the Rams had a tough, first week. They're going to get things back together. They're going to get Allen Robinson more involved in the passing game, and they'll figure it out. I'm not worried about the Rams. The defense will figure it out, and I think they'll be fine. They're going to win enough games. They're going to make the playoffs, and I'm sure last night, though, was a hard one for the, Rams fans.
I'll
to
tell
kick
you
off the
what,
season with.
I was targeting Allen Robinson in fantasy football, and now I'm like,
What the heck was that about? Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Who wants to go first of the Rams contingent? Christian or Rocky?
Pop.
All right.
Okay.
Age
All
before
right,
beauty.
listen. Yeah, Christian, I'll leave the Allen Robinson mess to you, son.
Yes.
But look, I got to tell you, I was telling Christian before the game, I don't see how the Rams could match the intensity that they finished the season with to beat the Bills today. It's going to be a very hard, a tough assignment, and they didn't. And honestly, Lou, I got to tell you, as a Ram fan, a real Ram fan, I think that was the best thing that could have happened to them last night. Not just to lose, but to get their tits ripped, to get it handed to them, And they've been reading all the press, but the Rams are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they listen to that. Now remember, Christian and I were out there, we were speaking to these guys. These guys all have a chip on their shoulder. They're ready to play. They needed something they need some motivation. And Sean McVay, in my opinion, is an amazing motivator. But there's nothing like getting embarrassed on national television in your own house to make you want to nut up and play
Yeah,
some
you know
football
what
next week.
sucks is you put up the Super Bowl banner and then you get pantsed on national TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were going to
I
judge
mean,
us way too
ouch.
much.
Christian,
I knew you were going to judge us way too much. I was not looking forward to this at all, Lou. I knew
Me
you were
neither,
gonna have way
man.
too much
I
fun
was.
with the banner going up, then losing. Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that.
Well,
Listen,
not
they're
only
gonna-
losing, but I mean, really
No,
getting
yeah.
blown off the field.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, they got-
Josh Allen is the next Tom Brady, in my opinion. The Bills are the
Oh,
team to
Tom
beat.
Brady.
There is,
You
there is
ever
no
seen
doubt.
a quarterback jack a corner like that?
A
No,
linebacker
and
like
he
Bobby
stops arms and
Wagner.
He doesn't
a
slay
linebacker,
slides
he
when it's
seized him
convenient.
up and freaking get out of my way like he's
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he's the real
That
deal. He's a
was
big kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, everybody's talking about, Lamar. Well, Lamar can't throw the ball like Allen
Josh
can.
Allen. Yeah.
I mean, if anybody deserves a massive contract, it's Josh Allen. Christian, go ahead.
Man.
What is the
Man,
good
oh, man, oh,
news
man.
about the Rams going forward?
The good news is Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp.
No. The good news is they don't play Buffalo Bills again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, they do in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But the good thing about this game was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had about 100. I'm sorry, I have it right here. He had 128 yards. He had more yards than every other Ram combined. The other Rams only had 112 yards. He had 128. Cooper Kupp, the second receiver in our group that had was leading the league. Leading the game was Skrinotic, Ben Skrinotic, the guy who almost cost us the Super Bowl last year.
Right. Yeah, he caught a couple passes. Then he
All right.
kept winning somebody.
Everyone who had Cam
Why did
Cam
Allen
Akers
Robinson
on
only get
fantasy.
one target? 11 yards.
That was my
Yeah.
biggest question this game too. Allen
That
Robinson
makes no
only
sense
had
to me,
one
Lou.
catch for 12
Okay,
yards.
so Allen Robinson, everybody said, great receiver. He's just being held back in Chicago. Maybe he's just not very good, Jeremy.
Or maybe they didn't throw to him.
Hang
How many
on,
targets did he
Jeremy.
get?
One.
He's a talented receiver. I know he was,
Would you
bad.
take him in fantasy football in one of the first 3 rounds?
Well, no, but I didn't have him in the first 3 rounds anyway.
Okay, 4th?
So no, I would
Fifth?
take him where I would still take him where I have him ranked. Probably is like a 4th receiver, 3rd or 4th receiver. 5th, 6th, 7th round. If
So
I
he's
can
a
get him
bench
there.
player on your fantasy football team.
I mean, possibly, but no. The thing is, you got to realize he's still. Yeah, he didn't get a lot of targets. He played every snap of the first quarter or the first half. Still, they're going to get him involved. It's just it was the first game. That was the first time they were all out there together. Really, trying to play a tough defense. And no, I'm not worried about Allen Robinson too much. I wasn't thinking he was going to be, a world burner anyway. I thought he was going to have a solid season, and I think he still will. They just got to get him involved. They'll find a way.
The game plan seemed to be the short game, and that's what Buffalo did. Did you notice, Lou? When do you see Stephon Diggs on a 3-yard route? They started playing the West Coast Conference offense, and
they also hit him and Gabe Davis for like 60-yard touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Rams were doing, the tight end thing way too much. They're going to have to throw some balls to Allen Robinson up, let him go up and get him contested.
Right. Okay, so as I am here not to bury the Rams, but to praise them, as Brutus said.
Sure.
So going to move off of this because there's a lot of other things we have to cover. Must-see game of the weekend, Jeremy.
Oh, I mean, for me, of course, it's going to be, the Raiders and, the Chargers. But, as a fan, that's the game, of course, I'm looking forward to. Outside of my own fandom, though, I want to see Baker. I want to see Baker in Cleveland.
Everyone wants to see Baker.
I want to watch that game, and I'm glad it's on. I'm glad it's an early game that I get to watch before the Raiders are on.
Popcorn and chicken wings and cold beverages. And, man, I can't wait. And I said this weeks ago. When he got traded to the Panthers, I went, OMG. The first freaking game is Carolina at home with the Browns coming in. And we all thought at the time Watson was going to be suspended a full year. So we're like, oh, my God, Jacoby Brissett has to go to Carolina and play Baker Mayfield with a healthy Christian McCaffrey and the offense that led the NFL in yards given up per play at 5.1. They gave up a lot of points, but their offense was terrible. So they were constantly on the field. And, I mean, if your time of possession is 40 minutes for the bad guys and 20 minutes for you, you're not going to hold up the whole game. But they still – Carolina Panthers have a really good defense.
Top
Christian
3.
McCaffrey is the
So do
Swiss
the
Army
Browns.
knife.
Browns have a pretty good defense.
Yeah, they got a good defense, too.
Yeah. They got Miles Garrett,
Pretty
man.
defense.
No, the
They're
Browns
gonna
are
be
solid,
running
and
the
they've got
ball,
one of
man.
the better pass rushers in the game right now in Miles Garrett. So.
Miles
Boy,
Garrett.
I'm not kidding. And that, by the way, Lou, that's the matchup. They've got a rookie going to get up against Miles Garrett. That's the one you have to watch right there.
Yeah.
That's the matchup that's going to make all the difference.
I think
they're going to run away from him.
I think the two most overvalued defenses in the NFL are the Washington Commanders and the Browns.
Yeah.
They look great on paper. They look great on paper.
Yeah, I don't think they can beat Carolina. I don't think it'll be a stop McCaffrey. He's healthy now. He's back. Derrick Henry's healthy. He's back. Those are two guys to watch this weekend for sure. Derrick Henry missed 9 games. I'm just saying.
It's
talking
Rocky.
about game
Running
one.
backs,
He
man.
doesn't stay in a straight line.
No, that was
a
me.
treat.
We both have ADHD,
These are a couple
man.
of things that are
It's
important.
like,
McCaffrey being
it's more of a
healthy.
spider web.
McCaffrey being healthy is huge.
It's going to be in the
That was my
center
point.
or out on the edge.
Rocky's fork in the road actually has 4 prongs, like a real fork.
It's not just 2. It's several.
But they all come back to the point.
4
The
prongs.
point is, these are important things this weekend. McCaffrey being healthy is one of the most important things that are going on this weekend, along with Derrick Henry.
So let's just
Panthers.
put this on tape. Well,
Panthers.
on the cloud. I've got Baker winning this game. Jeremy.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I've got the Panthers winning this game. I think with Brissett, they're just a better team right now.
Christian.
I have the Panthers winning this game. I have Baker winning this game. I have Christian McCaffrey going off this game, man.
Off.
The Browns are a good
and Brissett
pass
will throw-
defense, but their rushing defense is mid-tier.
For every 100 yards Brissett throws, he'll throw 1 interception. How's that? At
And
least.
by the way, then he's not going to throw any because I think he'll be under 100.
You're going to go for 100 yards.
Because they're going to run the ball. By the way, my one concern about this is Baker Mayfield is an emotional guy. He might be so amped that he spontaneously combusts during the pregame warmups. And then you're going to have to start somebody else because he's not going to be alive anymore because he'll just explode. Like his head just popping, like in a South Park.
Scanners. Scanner mode.
Yeah, Scanners. There you go. Were you in Scanners?
No, sir, I was not. I lost that role to a dear friend of mine.
I was just wondering. Bordello of Blood with Dennis Miller. Did you? No,
Tom
just kidding.
Coco.
All right, let's go to the other game that Jeremy is dying to talk about. Jeremy?
Oh,
Raiders
you must
and
mean
Chargers.
I thought you were talking about the Chiefs and the Cardinals.
We'll
No,
get
just
there,
kidding.
but let's
No.
talk Raiders Chargers.
Yeah, no, I'm fired up for Raider football, of course. We went the whole preseason without seeing any of our starters. I want to.
And if the Raiders lose this game, when we do this show next week, Rocky and Christian get to kick us in the,
But it won't be the next day. It will still be fresh. It will still be a bleeding.
Yeah, by then I'll be over it.
Still be bleeding,
a week later,
losing pain.
Yeah.
Like
no,
that.
By the way,
wound.
I do think it's going to be a very tough assignment for the Raiders to come out first and play the Chargers. Same deal. They're gonna have to really come out the way they finished last year to win this game. And last year that last game they lost it on a fourth down. I don't know what you'd call it.
No, the Raiders won the game.
Yeah, on a fourth down because of a fourth down, unfortunate fourth down circumstance. We'll call it.
Yes.
Brain fart.
Well, the Raiders were willing to give them a tie, and then they acted like a-holes, and we went, oh, okay, then we'll just beat you. So they did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Raiders did. I'm not a Raider. Jeremy.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think like a lot of fans were waiting to see what this offense looks like with Devontae Adams and all the weapons they have. How's the run game going to look with everybody they added to that running back room this season and Josh Jacobs coming back. There's and I'm really interested to see their defense, as well. They got a good defensive coordinator coming in with some experience. I want to see what he does with these guys that he's got. It's going to be a tough game. I believe the Raiders can win. I'm pulling for them to win, but I'm not going to be shocked if the Chargers pull it out. It's a division game. It's two really good teams. I think one advantage is the Raiders are really healthy going into this game. They've got all of their new guys ready to go. J.C. Jackson, the cornerback, is not playing on Sunday. He is still coming off of surgery in the offseason. So Devontae Adams is going to have to be covered by someone that isn't one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. So we'll see how that goes. And the other thing I like is that the reports are already that the SoFi is going to be 70% Raiders fans come Sunday. So it's a home game opener in LA for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Listen,
wow, I didn't know J.C. Jackson was going to be out. That's huge.
The top 5 defenses in the league, and the Raiders are going to have to overcome that. Go ahead, Christian. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know J.C. Jackson was going to be out. That's going to be huge for the Raiders, but still, the Chargers defense is the top 5 defense in the NFL. It's going to be very hard for them to score, even with arguably the best wide receiver in football.
A lot of people are basing that on, they have Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was let go by 2 teams in the prime of his career. The Raiders let him walk, and now the Bears let him walk. There's a reason for that. Maybe he's not quite what everybody makes him out to be, and until the Chargers can prove they can get out of their own freaking way by not making stupid decisions, coaching-wise, I like the Raiders plus 3.5. I mean, is there any division game usually, Jeremy, that you wouldn't go, well, if you're going to give me plus 3, I'll take the team plus 3, unless it's just like a really huge mismatch.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Like the Rams against the Bills.
Which isn't a division game, though.
No,
Gotcha.
sorry. My bad. I was just getting the extra you-know-what in
It was
there.
all financial. Khalil Mack was all about money. Raiders didn't
Yeah.
want to pay him, and Chicago was trying to stop bleeding money.
No,
I
everyone
remember
talks about
John
how
Gruden saying, how close did Khalil Mack get to a Super Bowl this year after they traded him? Just saying.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll see.
the big talk is they added Khalil Mack to Joey Bosa, and
Can Joey
Yeah.
Bosa stay healthy? I don't
that
think
that,
so.
that they're gonna be eating people up. They're gonna be going after
Casey
Carr
Jackson's
hard.
not playing.
All I'm saying is on the other side, there's a guy named Max Crosby, and they added on the other side of him
Just the best pass rusher for the past
Chandler
decade.
Jones. So,
Yeah.
I mean, their quarterback in LA should be just as nervous as Carr about having to deal with that pass rush.
And look,
on
the
Sunday.
canonizing of Justin Herbert, I understand he's good. He looks good. He looks the part. Dude, win something. Win something before
Second year.
Before we start fitting you for
It was his second year.
yeah,
Just third.
before we start fitting you for the
Carr's been in the
gold
year
jacket.
in the league. This is his 8th year. He never won none either. So lay off.
Yeah.
No, bull crap. In his second year,
man.
Carr took the Raiders to the playoffs, and he took them to the playoffs again last year.
30
Carr
seconds.
has not taken the Chargers to the playoffs yet.
Yeah.
Right.
End of story.
When you win a playoff
All right,
game,
Jeremy, take us
maybe
out,
won
and then
something.
Christian, let's roll that wonderful segment I did from Snoqualmie earlier today.
All right, thanks for everyone listening on 1490 AM KMET in the Inland Empire, Southern California. We'll see you next week, as always, at 5 o'clock. And if you would like to continue listening and watching our shenanigans, then come on over to YouTube or Twitch, find the Steer the Line channel, and continue watching the show there. Otherwise, we'll see, we'll talk to you guys next week on KMT 1490. Go Raiders, go football.
Go Rams.
Loud Esmond here with your Snoqualmie Sportsbook Weekend Outlook here at the Snoqualmie Casino in the Great Pacific Northwest, your closest casino to Seattle. Great place to get in on the action. A lot of great sports betting going on this weekend. Of course, baseball is still ongoing. For those of you that want to bet on your Mariners or Yankees or whatever team that is that you want to keep betting on. Also, I think there's some still props available on Aaron Judge and his home run chase. But the king of all sports right now is football. College and NFL, and of course, that's where all the action, well, most of it anyway, is going to be on these weekends when you've got a full slate of college and NFL games. Of course, the NFL season kicked off already with the Bills' dominating performance against the Rams. Anybody with Bills receivers or Josh Allen or the Bills defense for fantasy football purposes is doing real well. And anyone who bet the Bills on the money line or taking the points also cleaned up last night, as it is an easy win for the Buffalo Bills over the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. A lot of big college games last week. Of course, you had Alabama rolling, you had Georgia rolling. They're both now number 1 and number 2. They both covered huge spreads. And then with Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish taking on Ohio State Buckeyes, well, they kept it closer than a lot of people expected, and they covered that big, comparatively big spread for them, a big program at 17.5 points. And then the Gators and the Seminoles. Florida football is back for both of those teams, and I believe the Hurricanes also won and covered. So good weekend for Florida football. Kind of all over the place. A lot of big spreads got covered. A lot of small underdogs also covered, so it was kind of all over the place. Got some interesting games to bet this weekend, leading with, of course, the big Alabama take-on of the Texas Longhorns. This is going to be the test of whether or not Texas is really back. Of course, the Sarkisian, the coach of the Longhorns, for a long time an assistant with the Alabama Crimson Tide. And, of course, the assistants to Nick Saban have not done very well going up against him. It's a big number, though, at 20.5. The Utah Utes, one of those teams that was favored. They were in the top 10, number 7 in the nation. They went to the Swamp to take on the Gators, and they lost. So the Pac-12 really took it on the chin last week. Now they get some home cooking. They're at home. They have the Southern Utah team coming in who is not very good. That spread is now 43.5. Question there, does Utah bounce back right away from that tough loss to the Gators and really take it to an in-state rival? The Memphis Tigers will be at Navy. Now, here's a little edge about betting, and that is the high-profile games are going to be harder to bet than a lot of low-profile games. If you have a low-profile game and you think you've got a read on it like Memphis at Navy, it's a game that you probably have a better chance at winning on than, say, a high-profile game like Alabama at the Texas Longhorns. Another interstate rivalry, we've got Iowa State at Iowa. Iowa minus 3.5 there. Samford, not Stanford, Samford takes on Georgia. The Bulldogs looked absolutely unstoppable in their game last week, and now they get Samford, big number, they're minus 53. And a team that disappointed last week, Ole Miss, big number, they're minus 53. And a team that disappointed last week, Ole Miss, really failed to put it on the team that they were playing and were supposed to blow out. They didn't cover. Now they have a fairly large number again this week, minus 34.5 as they take on Central Arkansas. And then, in one that's a bit of a puzzler for me in college football, you've got the USC Trojans that won 66-14 against Rice, going up against Stanford. Now, Stanford did beat Colgate 41-10, but can Stanford really keep up with all the talent at USC and the coach there? High-scoring team, 7.5 seems a little bit low to me, but the bookmakers, well, nobody beats them long-term. So we'll see what happens there. Then in the NFL, a couple of early games that are really interesting. The Vikings are +2, taking on Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, and the Green Bay Packers. Now, can Kirk Cousins finally step up? He's got Justin Jefferson, he's got Thielen, he's got Dalvin Cook at running back, he's got a new coach that's probably going to get more out of the team. The defense was underrated. Where, if ever, this has got to be the time, because Aaron Rodgers comes into this game with nobody at wide receiver. Lazard, who was supposed to be the number one, replacing the number one Devontae Adams, who went to the Raiders, he's nursing a gimpy ankle. He hasn't practiced all week. Even if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. Nobody in their backfield really scares me. I mean, Jones is okay. And the defense for Green Bay is supposed to be good, but Minnesota's got a good defense too. So this is the opportunity, Kirk Cousins. Step up and take advantage of it. Now, the Ravens, with that bizarre Lamar Jackson situation that's gone on all season, they go to the Jets. The Jets who are starting the former starting quarterback for the Ravens, Joe Flacco. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that works out. The Ravens probably romp there. The Panthers take on the Browns. Of course, this is the Baker Mayfield Bowl. Mayfield playing his old team. They are coming to Carolina. It's only minus 1.5 on the Panthers there. And then Sunday night, big game, Buccaneers at the Cowboys. With all the problems, no Gronk, no Godwin, 3 starting linemen out, can Tom Brady still be Tom Brady and make the magic happen again with all of the off-field turmoil in his life and all the things going on the team? Can the Cowboys step up and beat the Buccaneers? And right now, that is Cowboys, a home dog, at plus 2.5, almost a field goal. And then Monday night, the Broncos come in and take on the Seahawks. Of course, the big story for the Seahawks, Russell Wilson, the longtime fan favorite, star quarterback of the Seahawks, well, he's now with the Broncos. So they come in, and you've got at quarterback for the Seahawks, Geno Smith. Tough. The Seahawks have not looked very good in preseason. 6.5 might be a short price for the Denver Broncos. Well, there you go. Those are some of the few of the interesting games. Of course, there's more than 50 college football games. There's 16 NFL games. This is going to be a great weekend. If you're into sports betting, this is the place to be. The Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook, where I'm Loud Esmond, and I've just given you the sporting betting weekend outlook.
I don't know. There he is.
Who took me out of the stream?
Nice. By the way,
Fix your mic, Lou.
Your mic.
Your mic. There you go.
okay. Everybody got a potty break. Ran that segment. I want to.
I was sitting right here watching that report. It was great, by the way. Very good.
Very good.
I want to ask this: the most disappointing team in the NFL this year will be who? Jeremy.
Oh wow. Disappointing.
The team that will not nearly meet the expectations that they have.
No, that's kind of a tough one. Right off the top of my head, because I kind of have
Okay, let's move on to Christian.
Yeah, go ahead, Christian.
The Cardinals. The Cardinals. A lot of people still have the Cardinals as being this, heavy favorite to win the Super Bowl. Even with DeAndre Hopkins out, AJ Green still that guy. Hollywood Brown. Kyler Murray just got paid. He's gonna go off. I don't think these guys are gonna make any noise. I think they're gonna be a sub 500 team. They're not gonna. I don't think if they do somehow make it to the playoffs, it's gonna be the same thing as last year, a first round exit, most likely by the Rams again in SoFi.
All right, I'm going to give you the Arizona Cardinals as like a 7.5, and fading them as like a 6. So you get like a 1.5 score for that pick. Rocky, the most disappointing team in the NFL.
The Arizona Cardinals. Their season will probably last 3 quarters. And that's when Kansas City will have been beating them. And when Kyler Murray realizes it's okay for me to lay down a little bit, I don't have any help. All my guys are injured. He will quit.
Rocky.
And Green Bay Packers.
Answer your question first.
Rocky.
Yes.
The most disappointing team in the NFL that is not the Arizona Cardinals this year will be who?
Green Bay Packers. The Packers.
Okay, moving on. No. How and why?
Because, like you said, they have nobody. Aaron Rodgers got paid to the detriment of their legacy. Green Bay, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. I really think Minnesota's going to win that division this year. I don't really laugh about that, but I think Minnesota wins that division. They're toast. He got his money and he's happy.
All right, Christian's on Arizona is very disappointing. Rocky, because the Green Bay Packers are like a 9, and he's taken them to like a 5. You're at like 4 points. Jeremy.
All right, I got my team for you, Lou, because I recall someone the other day I was talking to asked me for a bold take on the season, and I got one for you. It would be definite disappointment for this team. My team is the Tennessee Titans, and here's why. I think by week 5, we're going to see the young quarterback get into the game because the Titans are going to start the season 0-4.
Woo!
They're going to have
that's
week 1 shenanigans are going to cost them a game against the Giants. It's just going to be shenanigans. And then they go on and play 3 teams that they are not better than. They've got to play the Raiders. They've got to play, I believe, the Chiefs. And I forget who the 4th team is. They got 3 really tough games in a row. I think Titans are going to start 0-4. By week 5, we see the Rook. So there you go.
Ooh, that's a bold statement right there.
So here's Loud Esmond's most disappointing team of the season, and it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow.
Tom Brady, no Gronk, no Godwin. Offensive line is in a shambles. But the most concerning thing to me is he doesn't seem to have his heart in it anymore. Takes 11 days off during training camp. Well, I'm 45 years old. I got other stuff going on. His wife is pissed that he's playing this year. Apparently, there's a real rift in that marriage. She wants to go do this. She's always been saddled with the kids. Rocky, have you ever been in a bad marriage?
I'm gonna take the 5th.
Okay, Jeremy?
No, good.
Christian hasn't been married yet. And I've only ever,
Says who?
Oh, have you been?
No.
Yes, of course I have been, Lou. I was your
No,
guy. that
not
has
you, Christian. For God's
I know.
sake, you've been married like 7 times, probably. And my wife,
Right on the dot.
Nicole, is incredibly supportive of me, no matter how dumb the decisions I make are. And I make some really dumb decisions, and so it's wonderful, man. When you're 45 years old and you have problems at home and you've got problems on your offensive line and there's no Gronk and there's no Godwin and Leonard Fournette is 72 years old. And,
Middle class problem right there.
Yeah,
That's a middle class problem.
I just don't know. You know what I call those? I call those cruise ship dilemmas. What will I have for breakfast before I have breakfast again? What will I have for dinner before I have the late night dinner? Anyway, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers miss the playoffs. I think they are that bad.
That's almost more bold than my take.
That is way more bold than Jeremy's
Okay,
statement.
so you graded me and Christian. Didn't grade now grade yourself on that.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's expectations are Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm taking them to a 1, missing the playoffs. So I'm +9.
Of course.
Well, who
right,
wouldn't
so
be? If you got to grade the test, wouldn't you win?
I
All right,
guess,
so
but
let's
they-
reverse it. Let's reverse it. And I don't have any notes in front of me. Let's go most overachieving team. Christian, you get to pick first.
The Minnesota Vikings. I really like Minnesota's chances this season, like how Rocky was
Well,
talking
because
about.
I just picked Green Bay to be the worst. Of course you picked them.
Well, yeah, but I think Justin Jefferson is going to make that leap to be. I don't think the number 1 receiver in the league, but at least
I'm sorry,
a
I
very
picked
close
Tampa
number
Bay.
2.
Somebody else picked
Rocky
Rocky
did.
picked. My
He's
bad.
going to make that jump to the
But
number
he
2 receiver in the
took it from
NFL.
me because it was on my notes. So go ahead.
I think he's going to take that giant jump to the number 2 receiver in the NFL. He might shock everyone and just be the best receiver in the football. And it would be great for Minnesota. I think Kirk Cousins, he just got paid. I think he's going to be what's the right word I'm looking for? A good quarterback. Not a great, not an amazing, not going to blow you out of the water, but he's going to be a game manager. Yes, exactly. And
Does he not have a top 5 combination in the skill positions in Dalvin Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson?
Yes,
Jeremy?
he has a top 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
You like that?
They've added some other guys. They
You
got
like that.
couple of young receivers there as well. They've got what they consider one of the best backup running backs in the league. So they got a ton of weapons. They get Irv Smith back at tight end, who missed all of last season. They're excited about him. So Kirk Cousins has an opportunity to really bring his game up with this offense even more, especially with who they have running the team now of offensive mind. With those kind of weapons, Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson are going to be monsters this year.
Yeah, definitely.
So the most overachieving team for Christian is the Vikings. Jeremy, most overachieving team.
I'm gonna take a team no one's really talking much about. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I don't know if they're gonna go to the playoffs or anything, but just winning 7 to 8 games would be overachieving for them, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the quarterback with the coach combination there. I like Doug Peterson and what he did in Philadelphia and the young team that they put together. Some of the weapons, not household names around there, but you gave him some really talented guys in the slot at tight end, at running back, and Trevor Lawrence, I think, is gonna make that leap that everyone thought he was going to do last year under Doug Peterson. I think it's going to get him 7 or 8 wins that people don't expect.
I'm going Lions.
Yeah, I think we all
Lions-
knew you were going with that.
What?
I think we all knew you were going to go with the Lions. You've been
Look,
preaching about the Lions all off season.
Lions have one of the top 3 offensive lines Their running back is highly motivated and really good. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, is a good game manager. Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, they have a couple weapons on the outside. Their defense worries me. But I think Detroit Lions are going to overachieve, and I think they make the playoffs. I think they are the last team in the NFC to get a wild card.
Wow.
That's bold. That is bold.
That is a big one right there.
Well,
give you nine.
I've heard that a lot.
Hear it all the time, don't we, Lou?
All right, Rocky, so your most overachieving team was?
Well, listen, I didn't pick one. My most overachieving team. I'd have to go with the middle of the road team. I'm probably going to get 3 points. I'm going to say that the Chargers overachieved because they're going to be in the AFC Championship game against the Bills. So I don't think anybody expects them to go to the championship game, but that would be overachieving for a team that hasn't won a playoff game in a while, right?
Technically, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm still the clubhouse leader with all the points.
Attaboy.
Just throwing it out there. All right, let's go to the slate of NFL games this weekend. We're all going to make our picks.
Right.
Baltimore Ravens, New York Jets. Rocky.
Ravens, but I wouldn't bet it because now that Flacco's in there, it just takes it. It's too weird for me. I'll stay away from that one, but I'll obviously the Ravens, but I wouldn't bet it.
Christian.
Yeah, the Ravens definitely. Lamar's going to stomp all over them. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's -6.5 for the Ravens. I know, Jeremy, you don't do the betting thing. Who's going to win?
Ravens. And, yeah, I think that's 6.5.
Yeah, by 2 scores. They're going to win by 2 scores.
I think Ravens by 18-20 is my projection there. New Orleans Saints -5.5 going to the Atlanta Falcons. Christian.
It's the Saints. I have the Saints just because of their defense. I don't have much faith in J-Bo, But yeah, I got the Saints -5.5. I would go under that, in my opinion.
Rocky.
Saints blowout. Not even close. Saints are going to rip them up.
Jeremy.
Not even close.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints. I like the defense, and I actually do like the offense there. This is a quarterback that once threw for 5,000 yards, even though he threw a bunch of interceptions. He's got a lot of weapons around him right now. And my biggest worry is, I know the kind of head coach Dennis Allen is. So, but
that's my concern with the Saints. Is Dennis Allen sucks as a head coach.
Yes, he does.
He's a good defensive coordinator, but he doesn't talk to anybody. He's not a motivator, and I think you have to be a leader of men to be a really good NFL head coach, and I just don't think he's that guy. The New England Patriots go to sweltering Miami to take on the Dolphins. This team has had the Patriots number. Yeah. Does that continue this weekend, Jeremy?
Yeah, the number for Miami is going to be 1-0, so they're still going to have their number. I'm just not a lot of faith in the Patriots this year. I know they're going to hang in there at times. You can't count them out, but no, I like Miami in this game.
Rocky.
Yeah, the who cares bowl, but I take Miami. Yeah. I could just as easily pick New England to cover that spread, but I think Miami beats them. The cheetah makes a difference.
See, Rocky and Christian, this is why you need fantasy football in your life, because then you will care about all these random games and players all the time.
Make a hell of a difference. Miami is -3.5. Do they cover that number, Christian?
Yeah, I think they cover that number. You have Tua Tilapia and the cheetah out there, just playing.
That's my favorite name for him now. That's
Very
all I'm
good.
ever going to call him. Tua Tilapia.
For the rest of my life, he is Tua Tilapia.
Yep.
And tilapia is tasty in a
Everybody
fried
watch
taco.
it. Make it a thing.
I
Go
will
out and
just
tweet
say,
Tua Tilapia.
Tua Tilapia.
Make that
And Renfro as the slot machine. Tua
Tilapia is the
and
new
Renfro
best
as
nickname
the
in
slot
football.
machine. Those are
The
the
kid
best
may have
names.
just broken the internet again.
Yeah.
We
No, but
talked-
yeah, I have them for 3.5. Definitely.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. We talked about Cleveland to Carolina. The Steelers go to the Bengals. The Bengals are -6.5 at home against the
Wow.
Steelers. Jeremy.
I don't know if it's going to be -6.5, but I do like the Bengals in this game. I think it's going to be a little closer. These are division rivals, and I'm not counting out Pittsburgh like some people might because of the quarterback situation. I think what they got at quarterback right now is just going to be as effective as the broken down Roethlisberger they had for the last 2 or 3 years, and they still won plenty of games, went to the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
but I do like the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will cover that 6.5. I think the Bengals might win the game, but it's going to be a lot closer than that. They still got a good defense, and they still got Mike Tomlin as a coach. So
Christian, Bengals -6.
Yeah, I have the Bengals winning, just not by -6. But I do have one little thing I do want to talk about the Steelers because their defense is insane. But there's a fact I saw today that I just need everyone to know. There have been over 200 quarterbacks in the past year that have played over 50 games in the NFL. The only one that hasn't thrown an interception in 50 games is the MVP himself, Mr. Mitch Trubisky. I saw that today. Yeah, and I just need everyone to know that
throw
today.
any passes over 3 yards, it's hard to get intercepted.
Yeah, but that's just something I saw today that I need everyone
Tom Brady
to know.
won't do, but he will.
All right, 49ers Bears. The 49ers are -6.5 going to Chicago.
That's the who cares bowl.
Wow. I don't care how bad they think Trey Lance is. The Bears are at least the second worst team in the NFL. The 49ers cover that number big. Jeremy.
Yeah, I like the Niners in this game. I think they're going to come out strong. Lance is going to have something to prove, and I think they'll win week 1.
Rocky.
Yeah, I think they ease Trey Lance in. I don't think he throws a lot of passes. I think he manages the game. They kind of ease him in there, and I think they win the game handily, unless he starts throwing the ball all over the place. Then, well, this is it. This is where they find out what he's made of. But they're going to ease him in. He'll be a game man.
6.5. It's a touchdown, Rocky. Are you still confident?
Yeah, I like him.
All right, Christian.
Yeah, I have San Francisco winning. I just don't know by a touchdown. That's a big margin for just a guy who hasn't played very well in the past.
You got to pick one side or the other.
Then yeah, sure. Give him for 6.5.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles -4.5 at the Detroit Ankle Biters. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Philly. I know that Detroit's your overachieving pick for the season, and I do like Detroit. They're going to be fun to watch, but
necessarily.
Not in this game.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the Eagles in this one. I think they're going to be a really good team in the NFC.
Rock.
Yeah, I think this is a good bet, a good game to bet, because I think the Eagles go to Detroit and show everybody what a top 5 defense looks like. I think it's going to be extremely frustrating for Detroit fans and for Jared Goff in particular. Yeah, I think Detroit. I think the Eagles cover this one easily.
Christian.
4 points.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts.
And there's no value. The other thing is there's no value in betting Detroit because betting the money line only gives you +171, and betting the points only gives you -110. It's just dumb. Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. The Texans are supposed to be terrible. Matt Ryan with a running game and a good defense. They're -350 on the money line. -7 would give you -115. Do the Colts win by 8 or more, Christian, against the Texans?
Yes, definitely. I could see them winning by 3 scores in this game and it just being a slaughter. The Texans are arguably the worst team in the NFL, and I think Matt Ryan has something to prove this season as well. He had a chance to win a chip in Atlanta, and it wasn't up to him, but he lost it, and he's been sitting in Atlanta for a while, and now he has a team that could win, and I think he's going to come out this season guns blazing.
My dark horse for NFL MVP is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At +5,000. I have a few shekels down on him. Jaguars, Commanders, barf, who cares? Jeremy, you wanted to talk about the Chiefs and the Cardinals. The Chiefs are -6.5. The Cardinals +6.5. Your thoughts?
Actually, I was making a joke when I said that earlier, but we can
Oh.
talk about this game here. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, it's a big game coming into the week one, but there's a lot of issues going on in Arizona, especially week one. They got some guys who are doubtful and out on both sides of the ball. I just don't think they're going to have enough firepower on either side to stop the Chiefs this week. I like the Chiefs.
Yeah, his last receiver's out. He has no receivers. Kyler Murray has no one to throw to. They're gonna get pummeled. This is my pick of the week, by the way. Bet the
They still got
Chiefs.
Hollywood Brown, but that's
Yeah,
about it.
well,
Is AJ Green out?
No, Green's going to play, but Rondale Moore is out.
out Moore's out.
Yeah, so
I'll
and then
take
on the other
Chiefs.
side of the ball, the Trayvon Mullen, who they got from the Raiders in corner, he was supposed to start. He's out. They don't know if J.J. Watt's going to play. So
Why
it's gonna be
would you
tough.
take a corner from the Raiders with their? Oh my God! Why would you do that to yourself?
On the other
All
side,
right.
Chiefs are completely healthy. No injuries.
And
Yeah,
here's
they're
my
good to go.
pick of the week. Seattle is going to get blown out by Denver on Monday night. -6.5, -14, -18. I don't care. Seattle sucks. And I'm in the world of Pacific Northwest, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And Russell Wilson and them going to the playoffs or the Super Bowl, no. But the Seahawks are so bad on both sides of the ball because they're tanking to pick up lots of picks so Pete Carroll can look shiny 3 years from now. I just don't. I have nothing in favor of the Seahawks.
That's why Geno Smith is quarterbacking. That's why he's-
Until the Seattle Seahawks start Drew Lock, I will no longer be referring them as the Seattle Seahawks. They're Seattle Seahawks.
They're not
now.
even a football team. They're a practice squad.
Who
They're
is
now
their
the
third-
Seattle Seahawks.
Who's their third string quarterback? Because we might see him on Monday night too. By the time they look for some kind of spark in that game, so you might
Listen,
see your boy Lock anyway.
I think it's Christian, actually, is the third.
Sue me
quarterback.
up. I might be better than Geno Smith, man.
He might be. All right, Jeremy, take us out. We got about 60 seconds left.
All right, thanks for joining us for another Friday night. If you started off on 1490 KAMET, thanks for following us over here. If you watched all show or just even part of the show on Twitch or YouTube, we're here every Friday starting at 5 o'clock Pacific time. So enjoy week one. Football is here, ladies and gentlemen. It
Yeah.
is back. I am fired
Yeah.
up. Get your snacks ready. Get your drinks ready in front of your TV
Dog!
Sunday.
Yes, sir.
It is time for football, and I am ready to go. Go Raiders, go!
Props,
Rams.
Rams.
All right,
props
we'll give it
up.
to ya.
Hanging out in the off season doing this show. Great.
Go Chargers.
All right, go football. Everyone have a great Sunday. See you next week.
Next week, guys.